In this lesson we're going to use Pythagoras' theorem to actually calculate the length of the hypotenuse side on a right angled triangle. So if you look at the right angled triangle up here, we can see that there's 6 on this side and an 8 on this side. The smaller two sides are 6 and 8. So this makes the longest side C. It doesn't really matter which one you call A and B here. Now the way to start this, to calculate C, the longest side, we write the formula out. So C squared equals A squared plus B squared. B squared is the starting point. The next thing you do is you fill in the information that you've got on the triangle. So we know that A is 8 and we know that B is 6. So write down C squared equals 8 squared plus 6 squared. So all we've done is we've taken the 8 and replaced the A with that, and we've taken the 6 and replaced the B with that. We can now do this calculation, leaving C squared at the front. So 8 times 8 is 64. Again, watch not to double it. Add 6 times 6, which is 36. You can then add these two things together. Again, leave C squared at the front. We haven't done anything to undo that yet. So 64 plus 36 becomes 100. So if we go back to this, we're thinking of this, the square is 100 centimetres squared, but we don't want the big square, we just want the length of the side C. So we have to undo the square. So to do that, what times what makes 100? Well, that's called the square root of 100. And if you type that into your calculator, or you can do it mentally in this case, which is 10 centimetres. So the length of the hypotenuse is 10 centimetres long. Okay, looking at another example here. Same idea, except the side lengths are 7 and 10. Again, we're working out the longest side, which is the hypotenuse, so that's your C value. And the other two don't matter if you use A or B or B or A, it doesn't really matter which way around these are. So write the formula out again, C squared equals A squared plus B squared, and then substitute in your values. So A, you can see this time is 10, and B is 7. So C squared is equal to 10 squared plus 7 squared. Do the actual calculations. So 10 times 10 is 100, plus 7 times 7 is 49. Again, leave this as C squared, we're not doing anything to this yet. So 100 plus 49 is 149. And then to get C, what times what makes 149? Well, this is not a square number, so you have to use your calculator. Square root of 149, if you type that in, you'll come out to 12.2 centimetres to 1 decimal place. Okay, last example here. We can also use this to solve problems. For example, here we have a ramp that has got a right angle in it. The length at the bottom bit of the ramp is 8.2, the height is 1.6. We have to calculate the actual length of the ramp here. So this ramp part here is the hypotenuse, it's the longest side opposite the right angle. So if we write down what Pythagoras' theorem is first, C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Instead of using a C here now, I'm going to use an R, because for ramp, it doesn't matter if you used a C, but I'm going to use an R. So R squared is equal to 8.2 squared plus 1.6 squared. If you do these calculations, the 8.2 squared in your calculator and the 1.6 squared in your calculator, you will get this. And if you add these together, you will get 69.8. And then if you just do the same thing, square root to get your answer, which is 8.4.